不要把我的
嗨，蔡老师，早上好。
你好，梦梦好，早。
Hi.
Morning, Audrey.
Hi, everyone. We're so excited to be here today towards the end of the beautiful Thailander. And I first want to express all the gratitude that we have to the community members that have been so supportive and consistent throughout the entire project. It is a long project that started in April, and it seems like years has passed. I do have a gentle reminder that the last Highlander Day will start at 10 p.m. ET on June 5th and end on 7 a.m. ET on June 6th. So please remember to set up your fireworks before then if you want to explore and be a part of the ignition process. If not, they will remain as firework packets. So I'm so happy to have Ty with us today too, back from a very busy trip to France and Paris. Would love to hear a little bit about your trip, and we heard that you've shared some fan artworks at the Cartier Art Dialogues. So would love to hear a bit more about your trip in general.
OK， 谢谢TRLab 谢谢梦梦，很不容易这么长时间的维护我们这个项目的从头到尾，马上要走到告一个段落，然后也感谢我们这个社区的大家一起合作走过来这个是一个非常有意思也很特别的它确实是一个我们跟那个社区的大家一起互动的一个计划。就像如果说我平时也做了很多跟社区的民众一起合作的项目，哪怕是那个爆破的项目烟花或者是这个灯笼的三轮车各种各样的事情。但是在计划中间不断的接受社区的反馈，有所调整，有所发展。这样的事情对我来说还是这一次是很特别的，就是我们其实在互动中不断的一起合作，不断的调整。对，我很感谢社区的很多人，他们不光是很积极的参与了我的创作和我的了解我的艺术，他们也不断的为我们这一个 NFT 的艺术形式应该怎么做更生动、更顺畅、更有意思，大家都成了作者，真的这是很感谢的一件事情我们一起冒险，一起好奇心，然后一起玩过来，也好好的玩了。我先说这个，再说下一次巴黎的事，说下一个。
So first of all, I would like to thank TR and Audrey and BT and the whole team again for embarking on this long and beautiful journey together. It is a long journey, and then it's not easy to maintain, keep it up, the good work throughout the process and all the way till today, which is a short closure. Maybe we're looking forward to more, far more beyond this journey. And also want to thank the community deeply again. It's indeed a very special and unique project for me as well, because throughout the process, we get to both the artists and then the production team and the community experience variety of consistent interactions. And then I have to admit, in the past, for my so-called the non-crypto art projects, I have been used to having lots of social art projects, be it explosion events or fireworks performances or some other like public art projects like Fireflies, where I created 27 paddy caps inserted with lanterns and inviting the local communities to participate, to hop on the paddy caps. But still, this project, this Your Daytime Fireworks project, is still very special for me because throughout the whole process, we have been constantly receiving very exciting and meaningful feedback from the community. In response, we have been constantly adjusting and fine-tuning our projects and further developing the project throughout the process in response to all these exciting interactions with the communities and in response to their comments and the suggestions. So indeed, thank you, the community and everyone here, because not only you have been participating in the creation, but also learn more and more about my art, but also that you have been suggesting a lot as to what would be the more meaningful and interesting form of NFT artworks. And in order to help further develop and so-called improve this project in an exciting and meaningful way, and in a sense, you are all of you, the collectors, have become creators as well. Indeed, together we have embarked on this adventure with all the curiosity and then keen interest to develop it further. So for all of these, thank you. Allow me to say this much first, and before sharing more about my trip to Paris.
我继续说，去巴黎就2个多星期前，就5月16号，我参加了卡地亚的对话，在巴黎卢浮宫举办。那来自于各个美术馆、各个行业吧，有建筑师、有画商、有美术馆馆长们，当然包括卢浮宫的馆长，还有蓬皮杜的馆长。我是作为艺术家参加的。所以我在这个对话，他们是希望讨论超越时空的风格影响那这个我在这里面的对话说话里面，当然肯定要讨论到如何跨越时空。那么在过去的时代，我很多跨越时空的撞击大家都知道的，比如说美术馆的墙壁被打破，把农民的创造力带进了美术馆。就跨越了艺术家的身份，什么是艺术家边界，然后包括在美术馆展览的时候，有时候跟志愿者一起在创作火药画，或者美术馆的展览外面也有爆破项目，就是美术馆的边界被打破。那么现在这个 NFT 其实作为一个虚拟世界，也会重新打破我们这个边界。从实体到虚拟有一个边界，再让我们打破。所以我这就会在这个介绍自己的艺术里面谈到了NFT， 尤其是那个主持人问我我跟不同领域的人合作的经验，那我就会提到这个社区的人，因为这肯定他们以为我要说的是专家。他们希望我谈我跟中医师风水师宇宙学者各种各样专家合作带来的不同的辉煌的特殊经验。那我就特别举了跟社区的厂家们的一起做的这一个项目尤其是跟 TRLab 合作的几个项目的第3个就是有7000个这个烟火包，要让藏家们要学习我的艺术，要考一考，然后要根据我做在世界各地创作作品的日历还有当地的天气法规这一些规则怎么发展出那个烟花如何，然后我也介绍了厂家们在我的烟花的基础上又有自己的创新参与，然后这些参与又成了我的惊喜。我会把它作为我的2道创作，在未来来表现等等。那这个就带来了比较多的那个现场的刺激，而且是实况转播，像那个从卢浮宫向全世界实况转播的。然后我讲完了，最后观众提问的时候，也有特别问我关于这个 NFT 是不是有好作品等等当然我认为艺术界在全世界现在是相对保守的，时代在发生很快的变化，但艺术界其实已经很商业了，非常保守了，但自己还一直装着一个很现代艺术很牛的一个感觉，反商业其实挺好笑的。但是呢，有一个事情我不知道 会不会我的思考还是有缺陷的？我认为这个好的作品跟艺术史的规律会有关系，就是在漫长的历史里面，是先有好的艺术家创造了好艺术品，然后就有形成了那一段光辉灿烂的艺术史和研究这个艺术作品们的美术馆。那我们需要有时间来等待伟大的 NFT 艺术家创造伟大的 NFT 作品，而不是我们现在先盖棺定论来讨论。那这个 NFT 是算不算艺术啊？你认为它有什么好艺术家吗？好作品吗？拿出来看看。要时间。我大概有讲了这个。最后，蓬皮杜的馆长在总结说他的观点的时候也很惊叹，说我们法国在 NFT 上面是叫什么？来不及，有点晚了，做得晚了。但我们不会死在这里的，我们会赶快积极追上的。这个挺鼓舞人的。他这样，蓬皮杜馆长，主席在这个台上，在这么多法国媒体面前这样表示，也说明他们的对 NFT 的思考和判断还是很正面和积极的在思考。
So yeah, a little bit about my trip to Paris. Indeed, on May the 16th, roughly 2 weeks ago, I participated at a Cartier Art Dialogues, which was held at the Louvre Museum in Paris. It was the title was Beyond Boundaries. And museum directors and architects, art gallery owners, and then talents from a variety of fields were invited to speak at this forum. And then it was live streamed to an international audience as well, in addition to the on-site audience. And also like the direct presidents of the Louvre Museum and Pompidou Museum, they also participated and spoke at the same occasion. I was invited to speak as an artist. And the more specific, the panel, the title of the panel that I spoke at was called Style Influences Across Time and Space, from the perspectives of the artists. So what I shared in particular was, well, of course, I tried to share a bit about how in my artworks, how I try to cross time and space. So in the past, for a long time, I indeed created lots of unusual art exhibitions or projects that sort of conceptually break the wall, tear down the wall of an art museum, in the sense that it tried to expand the boundaries of the traditional definition of an art museum. For example, I created the exhibitions Peasant Da Vinci, in which I invited peasants as an artist to, I displayed the creations of the peasants, as Chinese peasants as creators. Displayed their creations as opposed to the traditional kind of artworks inside the museum. And I also invited local volunteers from around the world to join me in creating my gunpowder paintings as a form of engaging local communities as part of my artworks and exhibitions. And I also create major explosion events right outside the museum or even on the museum. All of these are sort of trying to push the boundaries of the definition of art exhibitions. So on the continuation of this practices in the world of NFT or Web 3.0, actually also I'm also continuing the same spirit in a sense, trying to channel the online world and offline world by pushing further the boundaries of art world. So on this note, I shared in particular how I have been working with NFT and the crypto world. I remember vividly that the moderator at one point asked me how I have been collaborating with people from different fields. I imagine he had expected me to say that I collaborated with lots of experts, such as feng shui masters, or traditional Chinese medicine practitioners, or experts, etc., or fashion designers, architects. I did do that, but I also emphasized that I started to working a lot with NFT communities and also the collectors in the crypto world. And the one major example I shared is that of all the recent collaboration with TRLab, the very third one, the latest one, your daytime fireworks, is especially special. We created 7,000 fireworks packets for the community and collectors. It is a journey, a shared journey in which the collectors are invited to first learn more about my art and life, and then pass the test. And then in order to be able to own a fireworks packets, and then based on all the factors that, regarding the local weather conditions or regulations, they get to decide on their own on which day they can set up their own fireworks. So in a sense, bit by bit, more collectors have become creators themselves, in the sense that they provided creative responses to the digital fireworks that I designed, that I created for them. Which became truly pleasant surprises for me. And I indeed have the plan. I look forward to somehow transforming some of those digital creations into something in the real world in the future. Of course, all of these that I just shared with you was live streamed to an international audience, and in addition to that, over 500 spectators on site at the Museum Louvre, and it was very well received. I remember toward the end of that dialogue, one question we got from the audience online was that they asked me, Cai, do you think there's truly great NFT artwork these days? So I thought a bit, and then my response was roughly that indeed we're in the time is changing fast. And then in contrast, the art world, which used to be the pioneer of our time and oftentimes ahead of our time, now are looking a bit conservative and also a bit commercialized sometimes. So and then but then also, and then I'm still not 100% sure about what I'm gonna say now, but at least that's something on my mind, which is that as for the NFT artworks, whether it actually should, maybe it also will follow the same pattern or law of art history so far, in the sense that in the history of art, oftentimes it's firstly we have great artists, and then they create truly great artworks, and somehow they form together a period of art history, and then art museums and experts came into being to study carefully this period of art history, and then these artworks and these artists, of course. So overall, when it comes to NFT artworks, my thoughts is that we need time. We have to be patient to say whether there are truly great NFT artworks, and which they are. What are they? In another word, I guess it's too soon to have a black and white conclusion that whether there are already great NFT artworks or what they are. So I guess that was my response to that question on the day. And I remember hearing my response, and later the president of Pompidou Center shared with the audience that in terms of NFT, I have to say the French people are a bit late in this arena, but believe me, we're not dead yet, which means we will catch up with you in all these late new trend NFT and crypto world. So I guess we have been receiving lots of very positive and exciting feedback and response to when it comes to NFT discussion. So I'm very excited to share all of these with you and look forward to more in the future.
Yes, thank you so much, Cai. I always don't even want to speak when I'm in Cai's presence, because he's such an amazing speaker and speaks so eloquently and beautifully. I fully agree. I think in the NFT space, it moves very quickly, but there's a lot of expectations for artists to do a lot more at once very quickly. And TRLab's stance is that we should give artists the time and space to really be able to think about concepts that haven't been done before. So even for your daytime fireworks, it was we were already working with Cai starting from last August, and we could have released it much earlier, even before Cai went back to Beijing for Winter Olympics. But we decided to really sit through it and think about the concept and everything that we were trying to say about the firework experience and also the ignition experience overall. Right now, I'm actually going to move on to a lot of the community questions that we have. And there has been a lot of community questions that have come in, so we may miss a couple, but we will try our best to keep this short and sweet and get through as many as possible. Additionally, if you're attending and if you're listening to this AMA, please drop your wallet address into the Thai AMA TRLab channel to collect the attendance badge for today. So for the questions from our community members, the first is, after the finale on June 5th, are there any further activities or development for this project? Are there any plans for new real-world firework launches to match the revealed NFTs, either in person or digital exhibitions? And are there any collaboration ideas that are brewing in the background?
跟我什么？我在我就像以前我做展览，刚才我也有说过类似的，那个总是会想着在这个美术馆做的时候，如何打破这个美术馆的边界啊，寻找不是那个美术馆展出以外的作品在哪里，让社区啊周围的民众能够在公共里面参与的。但现在我更也会包含了这个实体的艺术以外，虚拟的艺术在哪里这样的思考。而且我也认为从大型的项目或展览里面，虽然也要思考，但更好这样的实验性的想法，在小型的项目和活动上面就要多做。所以我在除了明年在其他美术馆啊，后年啊，23、24年的大型活动，也会把这一个NFT 和虚拟世界的一些作品当成自己的一部分来构想以外，跟像意大利啊。其他的一些小的，我们等一下中午也会见策展人开会，都要把它更快的推动这个虚拟和现实的一个交合。而且我感到，除了我这个白天烟火的这个动画做的效果啊，它其实跟真实的我的白天烟火并不完全一样的。我是可以让我们的烟花师们、厂商们来试验，做得很像动画，把这个烟火做得很像动画。另外就是实体做得很像线上的，但更好、更有趣的，我要好好思考一下这些社区们的一些线上的烟花做的作品，他们都有各种各样来自于不同的背景，他们对这个线上烟花的理解和感觉，也许可以有些用到了我的线下来。虽然有些看起来不容易做成线下的，但恰恰是因为它的不容易，构成了一个试验的一个有趣的点。对，大概有在进行中。
Indeed, I've been thinking a lot about what will happen after the so-called finale of our project. As you all know, that for a long time, for my previous exhibitions, I've always been thinking about how to push the boundaries of a museum exhibition, and also how to allow more public to participate or experience my artworks beyond a physical exhibition, outside an exhibition. So now, as I work more with NFT world and crypto virtual world, I'm thinking more about how to transforming more physical artworks into virtual world, virtual artworks, or how to create a more interesting relationship between the two. For example, more specifically, of course, it's also still important to continue creating more major large-scale exhibitions, but it's also important to continue creating more experimental and small-scale projects. In the future, for example, for the next 2 years, like the 2022 and 23, I have a few projects planning the pipeline. For all of these, when I'm conceiving of the exhibition plan, I've already been trying to incorporate the NFT and the virtual artworks as part of the exhibition plan. And also, for example, later today, I'll be meeting with a curator from Italy to discuss a future possible project in which I also would suggest going in the direction where we can incorporate both the offline and the online worlds. And also on the continuation of your daytime fireworks, I'm thinking a lot that actually what struck me the most is that actually the digital fireworks don't look exactly the same as the real daytime fireworks, in terms of the texture of the smokes and everything, which is truly interesting. So which prompts me to think that moving forward, I would love to invite them, the fireworks companies to do lots of tests to see if the real fireworks could carry the similar texture of the digital fireworks. That would be really fun. Looking a lot at the creative responses of my community to my digital fireworks. I understand that lots of these collectors and creators come from different backgrounds, so they have brought in their own unique sense and feeling about digital fireworks, which is truly interesting and inspiring. So I'm thinking, how can I transform part of those feelings and different knowledge from different backgrounds into the real fireworks that could be developed in the future in the real world? Of course, it's not easy, very challenging, but rightly because of that, I'm looking forward to conducting all these tests, and which will be truly fun.
That's amazing to hear. This is the first time I'm hearing the idea. I've heard Master Cai Lao talk about 线上烟花线下放, to bring online fireworks offline, but I have not thought about the ideas that have come through from the fan art and the ideas that have come through really looking at the differences between the digitally animated fireworks. Just within June too, we do have two things coming up. One is a fireworks parade that's going to be in Decentraland that has previously been shared with the community. We'll also be doing an intimate event during NFT New York as one of the first rewards for collectors of your daytime fireworks and Cai's long-term collectors overall. However, in the future, we do have some plans up our sleeves for bringing online fireworks offline and also continuing on with Cai and his collector, or shall we say co-creators in this case, his journey forward. What are Master Cai's overall thoughts about your Daytime Fireworks project as it's coming to an end soon? Are there any surprises that throughout this entire process? And now that you are almost at the end of the project, what would you say is the biggest difference between NFTs and physical artwork creation?
就是整个世界正在发生很大的变化，那么人们更多的变化，它都是在面对着是政治经济这些的感受，包括疫情俄乌战争。那表面看起来，当然也不能说表面的，实际上从这个我们人类的这个文化的现实来看，很多全球化的倒退。政治在趋向于保守，各个地方民粹主义在抬头，孤立主义一直在盛行起来，就是不同文化相互尊重的这一种 文化共荣共生这一种健康的人类这一种态度，有各个地方都有发生了倒退。但是可是在数字化还有虚拟世界的这个人类的全球化，如果有这样明确说的话，不是实体经济、实体政治，而是虚拟的数字的这个空间的全球化，不一定是倒退，搞不好是在以看不见的状态正在蔓延着，很快就会更代，就指数性的变化，而不是一种实体经济、实体政治那样的线性的变化，而是一种指数性的变化。这一个事情将会带来很多影响，使我们不仅仅是悲观的，另外一方面我们也是乐观的。同时我们也要想象人类就像宇宙里面大宇宙大自然一样，它是一种充满着繁荣和向上的，它是一种活力压不住的。那么这一个活力也包含着一种自由的精神和一种创造力，不可阻挡。所以我个人是很喜欢做一个艺术家，来好奇这个世界的未知，它的变化，跟随着它的未知变化，又参与到这一个实验中来，同时也不断的否定它的一些缺陷。然后我也不认定虚拟世界和这个 NFT 是完整的就是虚拟的，应该在虚拟和实体，就像刚才我们说线上线下，是一个可以融合交融的，这样使我们更自由的，不是给自己固定在一个接下来 NFT 将会是什么？其实 NFT 将会是什么是很不容易理解的。可能很多，刚才我看那个有一位网友也在问我们，接下来的你现在这里面有一个人的问周金大牛，对吧？在问的，你说一下，他说什么？
关于这个吗？
对
Web 3.0。金大牛，请问蔡老师 ，Web 3.0 NFT 对您来说，之于实体创作最大的差异是什么？So what's the major Ty, what do you think is the major difference between NFT or Web 3.0 creations and the so-called physical artwork creation?
第二点呢，他第二点也很有趣。
And the second question is， 您觉得Web 3.0 NFT 至于不同阶段，无论是新锐或是已经有名望的艺术家们，会各有什么帮助或是做法吗？How Web 3.0 or NFT will be contributing to artists in different ways and be them emerging or established artists.
我就是把他的第二个问题也在回答。第一个问题，我刚才啰啰嗦嗦的大概已经有一些了回答了。我感到就是不要担心 NFT 有成千上万个 NFT 太多，然后就感到很烦，感到它质量不好，很生气。要理解了，成万上亿的人喜欢画画，整个地球上每天有几亿张实体的素描、画画、图写，叫做什么？涂鸦、油画，各种各样在创作中。但是有多少才有真正所谓的艺术上的价值艺术史的价值这个不要担心，它要有一定的量。那个 NFT 如果只是一个油画或者是一些手段，假设它只是这样，它更重要的是这个实践，它能够让我们思考虚拟世界，思考未来的人类会是什么样那它有个阶段，慢慢的通过这个手段，人类会表现出它的文艺复兴来的，会表现它那个时代的潮流的，需要一段时间的。
So, well, first of all, I want to say that our time is changing extremely fast. and people are facing new realities, being, say, the political and economical changes, and then how the pandemic is affecting our lives, and then the wars and conflicts, like say those between Russia and Ukraine, for example. And overall, I feel a regression of globalization, a regression of lots of things, and the mankind is being more conservative, is growing to be more conservative, and then I sense a isolationist tendencies, and mankind are growing to be more nationalistic, for example, and also a regression of the once mutual respect among different cultures. But so those are the so-called regression of that I sensed in the so-called physical and real world. But in the digital or virtual world or crypto world, maybe there is a growing trend of being globalization, being global. A growing trend of globalization, perhaps. Maybe we will see, or we have been witnessing, and there will be an exponential change in the digital crypto world. Instead of as opposed to the physical world, which has been going in experiencing and sort of linear changes. Rather, in the digital world, we're witnessing an exponentially fast changes. So overall, indeed, NFT and crypto, all of these are making a big difference to our world. In that sense, we don't need to be pessimistic about the so-called regression that we have been seeing in the physical world. And also, one more note, maybe, that just to imagine mankind are existing in a cosmos, a vast space, with the new technologies like NFT and crypto world. There is a possibility of prosperity and vitality. All these new technologies are bringing in new freedom, new kinds of freedom, and new creations, which seems to strike me as unstoppable. So I, as an artist, I'm curious about all these unknown forces and then new forces. On the one hand, I'm keen to participating in all these experimentations and new things, but of course, I'm also conscious about potential flaws as we do in every new phenomenon. But additionally, I don't want to say, and I also don't believe that we will go all in the virtual world. Rather, it's I think the future will be a combination about virtual and the physical world, and there we can achieve the ultimate freedom. Don't need to be restricted by either physical world or the purely virtual world. And then that was my response to my first question. And the second question is roughly how NFT may be contributing to the creations of artists, be them emerging or established artists. I guess my thoughts in this regard would be that I understand that some people are saying, well, there are so many creations in the NFT world, and then lots of them are not so good. They're not so happy about a lot of the creations so far in the NFT world. But I have to say, actually, in the so-called non-crypto art world and throughout art history, every day there are, especially these days or in the past decades, just imagine every day there must be millions or even hundreds of millions of sketches or all forms of artworks that are being created every day. Can we say every single one of them are truly great artworks? Not necessarily so. So we have to be aware that NFT, as is, let's say, oil painting or like other artistic mediums, they're all just a tool, one of the artistic tools to be used by artists, by creators. The most important thing is not that we have this new tool, how can we leverage this new tool, and then to think in a big picture, with a big picture, and even to think, reflect on the bigger issue, like what can it lead, what new possibilities this new tool can bring to mankind. And all of these, of course, as does every artistic medium or every tool, it takes time for us to fully grasp its potential or what it can lead us to, in order to effectively express what we hope to express with this tool and to realize truly great artworks.
What an amazing answer. And I think the art collectors and your daytime fireworks are extremely excited to experience all the exciting and amazing experiences, firework explosions, exhibitions, and online connections that Cai will be sure to bring in the future. And I do think that Cai has shared with me that he's particularly excited for the intimate gathering at NFT New York and to meet a lot of these online fan art creators and collectors and holders of his digital fireworks in person, and to have a lot more of these intimate in-person conversations to see what fireworks can come off. For everyone involved, I know that time's running up. Cai does need to run off to another meeting shortly. I want to highlight that for a lot of the upcoming plans for this particular project, for what we're giving back to our collectors, please stay tuned. That will come right around the end of the project at the firework finale. I also want to leave room for Cai to say any last words he'd like to the collectors that have always supported him. And yes, and we'll wrap up for the day.
谢谢大家，还是再次感谢，希望有机会邀请一部分厂家到我的工作室来参观，然后我们可以从线上走到线下来，看看我们的实体，交流我们的精神，交流我们的愿望和未来。因为我认为这个 NFT 这件事情，它不仅仅是 NFT， 是代表着一个时代的可能性和未知。它是我们人类今天的一个世界的自由的扩展的一种希望，也是我们会有很多问题会出来的。那个传统的艺术在过去的漫长的历史里面有很多非常好的故事，有很多伟大的艺术家他们创造了很多优质的这个历史，优质历史就谈起来让人津津有味，梵高啊，谁啊，毕加索，所以需要时间，因为我们确实需要面对我们今天的时代变化，也会有人慢慢找到它的可能性。这就是天才嘛，天才是以最新的时代和最新的那一些渴望，包括他的技术，天衣无缝的。所以天才他自己知道自己是天才，他就很合适，天衣无缝。这种这种状态是需要时间的，就像动物，它也需要时间去寻找适应它的大自然，这样就会表现出它的能量出来。我们也是我们在探索的过程中也会挫折，会摇摆，有时候会感到有一些表面的东西会让我们带来一些置业，但是我们会慢慢的找到越来越好玩的事情。我希望跟大家不断的交流。
So once again, thank you everyone for this beautiful journey. I would love to invite some collectors and some members of the community to visit my studio in person, so that our conversation can be carried, can continue not only online but also offline. And during those visits, I would love to talk more with you about our thoughts, about NFT and crypto world and its spirit. Indeed, NFT for me, I think it's more than just an NFT, a tool. Rather, it represents all those unknown and exciting forces of our time. It carries the hope possibility to further push the boundaries or extend the possibilities of mankind and its creations. And indeed, throughout art history, the history of the so-called traditional art world, there have been a great number of exciting stories and stories of both their artworks and also those artists. So indeed, lots and lots of creations have been made throughout the history by master painters like Van Gogh and Picasso, all those big names. But all of these do take time because we're facing this new time, which is witnessing tremendous amount of change. It rightly bears new possibilities. Rightly because of that, it bears new possibilities. And then for me, I always believe that a genius can always explore new possibilities in the midst of all these changes, exponentially fast, accelerating changes. But that definitely requires time to be realized. And those geniuses do exist, but it takes time for them to achieve what they hope to. Just like animals are always looking for the big nature that's suitable for their existence. Geniuses are in a sense just like those wild animals with the wild energies and passion to do something. So we as an artist and as creators, we are the same. We're in the same state. We're always throughout our explorations of new things. Of course, oftentimes we experience setbacks, frustrations, and oscillations. But ultimately, I believe we will find something exciting and some fun stuff. And I would love to continue this conversation with you and to find these exciting things together with you.
包括 TRLab 也是在整个这一个过程中成长和发展起来。
And I believe TRLab is in the same path as me. Throughout the process, and TRLab is also developing itself and grow itself during this your daytime fireworks and all those NFT projects you have been creating.
Absolutely. I think we've learned the most from the artists that we work with, but we've also learned so much from the collectors that have been so willing to share their opinions with us and give us advice and help us grow. So last two gentle reminders that the last Highlander Day starts 10 p.m. ET on June 5th and will end 7 a.m. ET on June 6th. Please remember to set up your fireworks before then. If not, they will remain as firework packets. And also, do feel free to drop your wallet address into the Thai AMA TRCab channel to collect the attendance badge for today. The purpose for the attendance badges that we've all been doing will also be released very shortly. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful.
这个差异技就是你知道，烟花在实体的世界里面，如果没放完，比如说50对情侣，一夜情都没放完，给他准备了300个爆炸。他没炸完，就要把它放掉，因为已经时间到了，不放掉呢，还要运输回去，更危险，所以一般就是给它放掉。大家最后如果一直在等到最后，如果没放掉，就等于你的家收藏了一盒危险品。赶紧把它放掉吧。但是如果你的观念就是要收藏一盒危险品。永远在自己的身边的，那也是一个很有趣的事。
Sorry, one last word. I'm reminded actually in the real world, for the physical fireworks, if you don't, if there are something left, some of those physical fireworks left at the end of an event, we have to. It's a problem that we need to address because if we transport the leftover fireworks back to the storage place, the transportation itself is a bit dangerous. It has risks along the way. So in our case, if you don't set off your fireworks, then it means you will keep some fireworks packets at home, which is in a sense a dangerous goods being kept at home. So that will bear some risks at home. But of course, it can be an interesting concept if you decide to keep those so-called dangerous goods at home. That could also be fun, but it's a decision up to you.
Okay, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Saoshi. Thank you so much, Sang, for always the amazing translation. Have an amazing day, morning, night, wherever everyone is. And we look forward to all of the upcoming conversations and projects with Master Tai that will continue going long after this particular conversation ends. Thank you.
Bye bye, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, bye.